After destroying my golden child sister's finance deal, her desperate husband Mark tried to ruin me by copying my own scheme, setting a legal trap involving my old, disgraced boss, Arthur. I recognized the formula immediately. To escape, I had to use the one thing Mark never accounted for: my old history with Arthur's company. The revenge against my sister Clara had collateral damage. I destroyed her financial life, but I also destroyed the reputation of her husband, Mark. He lost his funding, lost his clients, and lost the investment he was so sure of. Mark didn't fade away. He got angry, he got smart, and he got revengeful. Mark was a meticulous man. He recognized the strategy I used against Clara, the precise legal ambush delivered with timing. He began studying my history. He saw the headlines about my promotion at Apex Corp. He found the stories about my former manager, Arthur, the one I had taken down for stealing PTO money. Mark realized something vital. Arthur, disgraced and desperate, was the perfect pawn. The first sign of the trap was a strange call from a small regional bank. They were offering me a substantial low-interest business loan, $250,000 without any collateral review. Too good to be true. I declined. The second sign was a thick handwritten letter delivered to my office. It was from Arthur. He apologized for the past, spoke of finding redemption, and offered me a lucrative consulting opportunity at a new firm he was starting. The pay was triple my current consulting rate. I smelled the bait. Mark wasn't just trying to beat me, he was trying to mirror me. He had studied my success and reverse-engineered my vulnerability. He was setting up the exact scenario I had used to ruin my family, creating a massive, untraceable liability. I investigated Arthur's new firm. It was legitimate on paper, but tiny with minimal assets. The consulting contract Mark wanted me to sign with Arthur was a masterpiece of hidden liability. It contained a single, obscure clause, a performance guarantee that would make me personally liable for any loss the firm incurred over the next 2 quarters. Mark's plan was clear: get me to sign the contract. Arthur would immediately tank the firm through pre-planned, deliberate poor management. The firm would fail, triggering the performance guarantee. I would instantly owe $250,000 to the creditors, money I couldn't easily cover without liquidating assets. And where would Mark get the $250,000 to invest in the collapsing firm? The low-interest loan the regional bank tried to push on me. It was a perfect closed loop, designed to make me bankrupt myself. I felt a cold dread, but also a quiet excitement. Mark had shown me the formula for my own destruction. Now, I had to figure out how to dismantle the bomb without letting Mark know I was watching. I didn't decline Arthur's offer, I accepted it. Mark had planned for me to decline. Acceptance was the first pattern break. I demanded one change to the contract. I needed to run an initial risk assessment on Arthur's firm before signing the performance guarantee. This was a standard business demand, one they couldn't refuse. Mark and Arthur agreed immediately, confident I would find nothing. They were right. The firm's books were clean, the money hadn't moved yet, but the risk assessment gave me full access to Arthur's new corporate email and cloud storage. I wasn't looking for fraud. I was looking for co-conspirators. I found an encrypted chat log. It wasn't with Mark. It was with a former VP from Apex Corp, Arthur's old company. The VP was feeding Arthur confidential client data, trying to set up a bigger scam to fund Arthur's new firm after they ruined me. The chat logs confirmed the entire conspiracy, down to Mark's involvement and the planned failure date. I had them, not just on the civil charge of fraud, but on the criminal charge of corporate espionage. Music. The main theme swells quickly, then cuts to silence. I waited until the day Mark and Arthur met to finalize their loan application. The moment they signed the papers, proving their joint intent to defraud, I executed my counterattack. I didn't send the chat logs to the police, I sent them to the General Counsel of Apex Corp, Arthur's old employer. The General Counsel had a personal vendetta against Arthur after the PTO scandal, and now, he had ironclad evidence of corporate espionage involving a current VP. The response was immediate and overwhelming. The General Counsel filed a massive 9-figure civil lawsuit against Arthur for theft of corporate secrets, demanding an immediate freeze on all his assets, including the $250,000 loan he had just secured from the regional bank. Mark, the clever schemer, had his money frozen the very moment he got it. His own mechanism, the aggressive use of legal leverage, was used against him by a third party he never saw coming. The regional bank, seeing the massive Apex lawsuit, immediately pulled the loan, citing extreme financial risk. Mark was left with no money, his investment scheme vaporized, and a now useless consulting contract with a bankrupt, federally sued Arthur. Mark had spent months studying my methods, but he forgot the first lesson. I leave no living enemies. Arthur was still breathing, and that was Mark's mistake. I resigned from the consulting firm the next day, citing irreconcilable differences in professional ethics. I got my fee for the initial risk assessment, plus the satisfaction of watching 2 separate rivals destroy each other using systems they thought they controlled. I learned that day that true survival isn't about being smarter than your enemy. It's about having better historical data. Mark didn't account for the institutional anger of Apex Corp. He only saw the loophole. He didn't see the history. The money I saved wasn't $250,000. It was the entire cost of letting a loose end like Arthur survive. This brings me to my final question. Which person was the true enemy in this scenario? Mark, who engineered the trap, or Arthur, who was willing to sell me out?